Good morning. Good morning. If you are joining us live here today, it is Friday, and we love Fridays because that means the weekend's coming. It means you've probably worked really hard this week. And if you work a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of thing, or whatever you're doing, but if you're working during the week, then here we are on the weekend, and hopefully you are taking that time to rest. And we have been talking about motivation all week long. And because we've been talking about motivation, I also wanted to talk about today on the importance of listening to your body. And you don't have to do one or the other. Be really motivated or you listen to your body. You can do both. So first, before we get started, I would love if you would like and if you would subscribe. Subscribing to the channel helps push this out to more people, which the intent is to get motivated for our days so that we have something to look forward to that gets us jazzed and thinking and being intentional about our day and going out into the world and really stepping into the most powerful version of ourselves. And so we talk about topics on the show like where do you find motivation? We talked about on Wednesday this week when you get to do something versus you have to do something and how that'll revolutionize how you look at the things that you get to do, not have to do. Like, I get to drive in traffic. It puts you in a better state of gratitude and it just changes your world. And so that's what we're talking about here on this show are things like, confidence and choice and control. And, we're going to talk about some really deep topics that often women struggle with. There's been a lot of research that we've done to see what are the things that there's this piece of hair, and I don't know what's going on, that women struggle with and keep them from maybe obtaining those positions that they're looking to get because maybe we're so outward facing that we're people pleasers, and so we're saying yes to everybody else instead of saying no and saying yes to ourselves and asking for money. That's a weird thing. And sometimes women over men. And we've talked about that on the show some here about how, women are less inclined to ask for money. So anyway, you can go back, look at the issues or look at the videos, but we've got a lot more content that's coming up. So I would love if you would subscribe. And now we are going to talk about listening to your body and the importance of that. So one other little asterisk, I am not a doctor. So if you hear anything throughout the show or on this show, and you're like, oh, good. Well, Jen said this. No, go to the doctor, go whatever. So listening to your body and the importance of that. Our bodies are designed to tell us exactly what we need. Have you ever said like, oof, I really need a soda? Maybe you ate a lot at lunch or something and you're like, I just need those bubbles to like roll around in my stomach and break stuff up or whatever. But have you ever had that? And then you think, okay, do I want a Coke, like a dark soda, or do I want like a 7-Up, a light soda? And you're like, I need a light soda. I'm gonna have a 7-Up. And our bodies, like we go through this, and it's like, what am I craving for dinner? Do I want sushi? Do I want Mexican? And you start to listen to it. And then it will tell you, yeah, I want Mexican. Tacos for me, because tacos anytime are a good idea. And it's being aware and starting to have this familiarity with yourself, asking yourself, how are you feeling in these moments? And when we get so wrapped up in life, when life is just happening, sometimes we're not tapped in, we're not tuned into what's going on with our bodies. And that can have a ripple effect. And, when we are stressed, our body releases cortisol. I think it's cortisol. And that, when it's in our body, is polarizing. And it can do detrimental things. And you hear about people getting these ulcers because they were just so worked up. They had so much stress and anxiety, so they got ulcers. And, all of these things medically that started coming up because they weren't listening to their bodies. I was I went to the doctor this week and I had a lump, or I have a lump right here. And so I went to the doctor and I said, hey, doc, look, what's going on here? Can you just like see what's going on. Like I've never had a lump there. I am getting older, but what's going on? And it was really painful about 3 or 4 weeks ago when it started growing. Maybe it was about 4 weeks ago. And then the pain stopped. But it's still there. And so he was feeling around. He said, "Oh, yep, there it is. There it is." And he said, "You have no pain?" I said, "No, I don't really feel it. In fact, I had to put a sticker on where it was because I said, man, I just couldn't even really find it." I'm like, "Where is this thing?" "Oh, there it is." So I put a sticker there so we could easily find it. And he said, "Jen, it's benign." And I said, thought, "Oh, well, that was a lot easier than I thought." And he said, "Jen, because if it's cancer, it will continue to hurt. Like cancer doesn't just go away. The pain doesn't just hide." And again, if you're dealing with something in your body, this is not medical advice. Go seek medical attention. This is what my doctor told me. This is my situation. This isn't yours. So do not take this as expert medical advice. I am not a medical physician. And so I really started to think about that. And I've actually talked about it quite a bit this week on some of my podcast and, just some of the other seminars and things that I've been giving. And it's this importance of listening to our body. And for me, I've also been relating this to, when I have something to say, and I don't like to let things stay in my body and ruminate, because to me, they do become that cancer. They become that thing inside of me that just grows and grows and grows and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that's also important for us to realize and become aware of as well, that things may come up and creep up in your life and you're like, I'm not going to address it. And this could be this could be with another human being. This could be part of your job. This could be, I don't know, something in the home. This could be with your spouse, whatever it may be. And if we aren't addressing whatever that is, that it can then start to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow with inside of us. And just like this lump on my side, thankfully I guess maybe I do feel anyway. No, but he said, "Jen, if it's cancer, it's not going to go away." And so being in tune with our body, hearing ourselves out, whatever it is, whether it's an actual lump or an invisible lump, but it's making sure that we're taking care of those things in real time. Because what happens when we put things on the back burner and we just say, "You know what? I'm not going to deal with this now." That's when things start to grow and they start to grow. And the truth is, if this was something and I needed to get it removed, it would probably be contained because I caught it within the first month. But if I didn't deal with it at all, we know the nature of cancer or things within inside of us, that they can spread and they can grow. And I'm not trying to sit here and scare you about medical things that are going on. And all of a sudden, you think, "Oh my gosh, something within top to bottom's going on." I'm talking about even the little things of, having a fight with your spouse and not addressing it, and how that can grow and grow and grow. If there is something inside of you that just doesn't feel good when you walked away from that fight, when you walked away from that thing, when something at work happened, when something with your kids, when whatever that may be for you. But if something isn't right, these things usually don't just go away. I mean, they may go down. I know when I went camping a few weeks ago, I thought, "Oh my gosh, what is going on? Did I get tick bites? Are they under my skin? Am I going to have Lyme's disease?" And I was watching this stuff and I'm like, okay, it looks like they're just chigger bites. I don't know. And eventually they went away. By the way, chigger bites take like a month to go down. They're nasty things. And I still have a little bit of a bump and I'm like, "Oh, hopefully that one will go away." But my point is that, yeah, you may have something and over a period of time, it will go away. But we've it is so important for us, especially in this busy world. And I know that if you are tuning in, you are a busy woman or man, whatever you are. You are busy. You've got your job, you've got maybe a company you're running, you've got your house. Maybe you are just a solopreneur and you don't have kids and you're like Jen Sugarmeyer. No kids, I am working for myself and all that. I find myself so incredibly busy. And there are times where I burn out. And this past weekend, I wrote so much and I burnt myself out. I wrote 25,000 words. And yeah, it felt really good in the moment. But then I had to give myself some grace this week and just take it easy with myself. Like I couldn't just keep hitting it because I had been going for a few weeks. And then it was like, it was kind of like the end of a race, where you're like, I'm going to give it my all so I can cross that finish line. And that's what I did. And when I crossed that finish line on Sunday, I guess it was Sunday or Monday, man, I really felt burnt out. But it was Monday and I thought, man, I can just keep going, But the truth is, yeah, I couldn't. I just felt like my mental health wasn't feeling as good. I needed some more fresh air. I wasn't getting enough. And I could feel that within my body. And you just got to listen. And I can't tell you what it feels like. Yeah, maybe your head is spinning a little bit more, or maybe you have that fear, that frustration, that anxiety. Remember, we talked about that a few weeks ago, that those are our trigger signs. If you are in any level of suffering, and suffering is fear, frustration, anxiety, resentment, embarrassment, boredom, those things like you just don't feel good in. If you are in those, that's when you should say, aha, I have a clue. I have a clue that what is going on with this? That there is a clue that something in your life is going on. And it's okay. How do I address this? How do I work myself out of this situation? Because nobody wants to be anxious. And if we aren't dealing with these things, that's when we start to see that ripple effect. I remember I got in a car accident. This was back in, this was about 8 years ago or so. I've been in a few accidents. And this last one, I had really bad whiplash. And, my head went forward and backwards. And yeah, so my neck and my whole body. And it was like 2 days. I didn't really feel pain. I didn't. And I was just going around and I because I was in shock. That's what had happened. My body was in so much shock and I had this adrenaline or whatever that had gone through my body and was keeping me going. And after about 2 days, my body went and it started to hurt. I no longer had that adrenaline rush or whatever was going through me to keep me feeling okay. And I didn't feel good. Pain is designed to tell us that something is going on. Imagine if you stepped on a nail and you couldn't feel it. I read this book one time and it was the something of pain, the joy of pain or something like that. And it was one of the best books that I had read. This was many, 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 many years ago. I forget the name of it. And it was all about the purpose of pain or something. And when things happen in our life, they're designed to be uncomfortable if there is a problem. Like stepping on that nail, like putting your hand on a hot stove, like having an altercation with someone and it just doesn't feel good. Like they're designed, this feeling of pain and suffering is designed for a reason. And there are people that have a medical condition. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. People that don't have pain. And think about that. Think about what it would be like to live with no pain. And you think, yeah, that'd be great. No pain. But what happens when you step on that nail and you can't feel it? What'll happen then? It goes right through your foot. And then you've got a bigger issue. What happens when you put your hand on the stove and you just hang out there and you don't know that it's hot? You're gonna have, what is it, third degree burns, first degree burns? Which one's the worst? First degree burns? Yeah, you're gonna have blisters all over. It's not where we wanna be. So pain is designed for a reason. Pain is designed to tell us something. It's to trigger in our brain that, hey, warning, we need to make changes, whatever those changes are. So listen to those. As you start to go through your day, listen and embrace those because they're signs, they're triggers to us. So we said, okay, we've got motivation. How can you be motivated and listen to your body? It doesn't mean that as you are going through doing whatever you're doing and something comes up, that you can't take a pause, that you can't find that time for yourself. You may find that you need to adjust your schedule. I can still stay super motivated and do all the things, but I need to push this thing back an hour every day. And that's going to give my body the time that it needs to do whatever it needs to do in the morning or whatever. Or you know what? I need that break every day in the middle of my day. One of the things I used to do, and I told my staff never do this, is I never took a lunch break. It was so rare that I took a lunch break. And I did start trying, or I did start at the end of my corporate career. I would go out and take a walk. And that made such the world of difference. That didn't mean that I couldn't still go to work. It didn't mean that I was bailing out on my responsibilities. It didn't mean any of that. It meant I was stressing my brain out, going all day long, getting no fresh air, getting absolutely no break. And I was more refreshed and revived when I just went and took a walk at lunch. I didn't have to go get sweaty. I didn't have to leave the office. I didn't really have to do anything. It was just a small minor shift. So I could stay motivated and listen to my body. It could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be something big. And yeah, I wish we did have more mental health days at the office. If you're in corporate and you want to take PTO, I suggest taking a PTO day. If you have paid time off or if you have sick days, if you need a day to just clear this out, do it. Do it. That's okay. That's what it's designed to do. I don't think us continuing to push, to push, to push, to push. Now, again, and we've talked about this week, there will be times that you absolutely need to push. Your company may be going public and you've got 2 days to wrap everything up. Or the court says, hey, you're in court on this day. And you're like, I've got to get everything. Maybe you're a lawyer. Maybe it's your case and you're the one going to court. I have no idea. But the law says you have to be there. Maybe there are those circumstances that you cannot change the date and you just got to get through it. But containerize it. See what you can do to work within the confines of that. Maybe it's making time for the gym during that day. You say, you know what? I have an hour break. I have 1 hour that I can spend doing whatever I want to do. What does that hour look like for you? How is it going to best serve you? Is it taking a walk? Is it going to the gym? Is it sitting down on the couch? Is it meditating? I don't know what that looks like for you, but where are you going to become rejuvenated and energized and strengthened? Or when you get through having worked all of those long, long, long hours. And like, I know like tax season and CPAs, oh my goodness, when it comes, August 15th or June 15th, like it was in 2021. And when you're finally done, because you got to get those things in, the government's not like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, you can extend for a little bit of time, but they have a deadline. So what are you going to do for yourself once you hit that deadline? So you're motivated and you're listening to your body. So, as we go into the weekend, if you are listening to this live, and I dropped in the chat to ask, what time are you watching the show? Because I'm curious. I'd love to see more people tuning in live. And so I'm just curious what time people are tuning in. So drop it in the chat. I'd love to hear from you, or send me an email at higherandheels@gmail.com. But we are here live 5 days a week talking about all things that are here to help you become the best version of yourself, to stay motivated, to stay healthy, to just go out and kick butt. So that's that. It is the weekend. So go take some time for yourself, some self-care Saturday, some self-care Sunday, or whatever it is for you, whatever you want to do. This is your life. You do it. You live it. You rock it. So we're coming up. We want the world to know. We're gonna let it show. That we'll see you here on Monday, same time, same place. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, and I will see you then. We're coming up. We want the world to know. We're gonna let it show. See you then. Have a great weekend. Cheers.